I'm done talking to you, bro. What is he even arguing about? Because it can't be that one play. Look at him.
Those 2 4th and 1s that didn't work. And did you like Kevin having the aggressiveness there, even backed up in your territory?
I mean, first off, let me just say that is an incredibly rude question to ask. But if you think about it, Jeudy really could not have picked a worse day to try and test Shedeur Sanders. It took absolutely no time at all for a little bit of on-field trash talk to morph into a moment of pure instant regret for Jeudy. Shedeur didn't give up an inch, not for a single second. He completely shut it down with absolute confidence. And you know what's funny? Jeudy wasn't prepared for that level of intensity at all. This entire interaction just goes to show one undeniable thing: Shedeur is simply built differently. Jeudy strolled into that moment acting like he wanted all the smoke, but he clearly had no idea that Shedeur was carrying the weight of an entire season of pain and frustration on his back. Jeudy was yelling, acting all aggressive, and trying to poke at Shedeur like he was some rookie who would just get scared and back down. But Shedeur just stood his ground, calm, sharp, with this look of absolute certainty on his face, which is probably why Jeudy seemed to get so angry. Think about it. Shedeur has been dealing with immense pressure since day one of this season, facing down doubts, playing through injuries, and absorbing constant criticism from all sides. Did Jeudy really think a few loud words were going to make him flinch? Not a chance. Jeudy just let his emotions get the best of him, while Shedeur maintained the composure of a veteran leader who has dealt with way more than just a little trash talk. And the truly terrible part is that Shedeur shouldn't even have to deal with this kind of drama from other players when his own coach is already making his job 10 times harder. Stefanski has this bizarre habit of being aggressive when he should be cautious, and passive when the moment calls for a bold move. He keeps gambling on Shedeur's drives, putting his quarterback in horrible, high-pressure situations, and then just leaves him out to dry to deal with the consequences of choices he didn't even make. Then people turn around and blame Shedeur for things that are clearly not his fault. He's the one who has to answer questions about the same failed play calls week after week. And through all of this, he still stands up for his team and carries that immense weight like it's just another day at the office. Most athletes, and especially young players, simply do not possess that kind of mental fortitude. So when Jeudy tried to step to him, he wasn't just looking at the quarterback who had thrown a pass. He was looking at a young man who has been pushed, doubted, and physically beaten down, but who, without fail, always gets right back up. People have no idea how much Shedeur has been shouldering this season. The stress, the sky-high demands, the relentless noise from the media, and a complete lack of meaningful support from coaching decisions that consistently fail to put him in safe, winnable situations. And yet he stays polite, he stays focused, and he never ever makes excuses. Meanwhile, you have Jeudy letting his emotions run wild and Stefanski continuously putting his franchise quarterback in harm's way. And the one guy who remains calm, steady, and completely dedicated through it all is Shedeur Sanders.
Game and after the game. Now, Jeudy has found himself in some serious hot water yet another week. Now, last week we seen Jeudy fumble. You know what I'm saying? And, I didn't really want to go in on Jeudy because he liked that on the football field. But it was looking kind of spooky. Looked like he just did one of these. He just threw the ball. But I let that slide, dog. I let you slide. Now, today, I ain't the only one that noticed this. Now, Shedeur had a pass, right? Shedeur had a situation in the game where Jeudy looked like he went out on an out route or a post, one of those long routes, bruh. And Shedeur was asked.
And honestly, moments like these are exactly why he's able to rise above all the chaos. For weeks now, Jeudy has been acting strangely on the field, and now it's so obvious that everyone can see it plain as day. It's not just one isolated incident or one awful play. We're talking about a pattern. When the team needs him to be locked in the most, he stumbles, he completely loses focus, and then he has the audacity to look around as if it's someone else's responsibility. He dropped a crucial ball without any real pressure on him, and at the time everybody tried to be diplomatic and nice about it, but now it's happening over and over again, and it's become crystal clear that he is not helping his quarterback whatsoever. When a receiver is running a long, developing route, the quarterback is placing all their trust in them. They need them to be on time, to run hard, and to fight for the ball. But with Jerry, it feels like it's always one of two things, either complete confusion or a frustrating lack of enthusiasm. So, when fans watched that route fall apart, they didn't question Shedeur for a second. They questioned Jerry because, frankly, he hasn't been playing like he even cares. He consistently acts like someone else made the mess instead of just taking responsibility for his own mistake. At the exact same time, you have Shedeur out here week in and week out, dealing with relentless pressure, carrying the entire offense on his shoulders, remaining unbelievably calm, and actively trying to lift up the very people around him who are letting him down. He never points fingers or blames anyone when the media asks him about routes that didn't work out. He shows more discipline and maturity than a lot of seasoned veterans in this league. But it's gotta be incredibly hard when your primary receiver can't even execute his job correctly. Shedeur is doing everything the proper way, he's reading the field, he's making the right throw, and he's trusting his guys to be there for him, yet Jerry just continues to let him down. This isn't just about one single path or route, it's about something much bigger. It's about dedication. It's about who shows up when it counts and who doesn't. And right now, Shedeur is the one doing all the heavy lifting. Jerry, on the other hand, is just making things worse by compounding his mistakes with excuses and seemingly not understanding how much damage his lack of effort is causing. And you know, when the quarterback steps up to the microphone and says, "I'll take the blame," even when everyone watching the game knows it wasn't his fault, well, that tells you everything you need to know about his character.
Shedeur said it was chemistry, right? So Shedeur took the blame. You know, like, basically, it's kind of on me. It could be chemistry. Now, I'm further analyzing this damn play now after the fact, and it looked like Jerry Jeudy might have gave up on the play. Now, I'm not saying that he did or he didn't, but it looked real spooky, Jerry Jeudy, bro. You ain't had your arms out. You ain't had nothing. Looked like you was running half speed, dog. And you can't be going out like that 2 weeks in a row, found yourself.
Shedeur is actively protecting his locker room and shielding his teammates even when they clearly don't work as hard as he does. He's out here giving Jerry the benefit of the doubt, chalking up a failed play to chemistry or timing, or literally anything else other than what it actually looked like. A receiver who slowed down and gave up in the middle of a live play. And that's precisely what makes this so infuriating. Shedeur is taking the high road and being incredibly mature by not adding more pressure onto other people when he's already got a mountain of it on his own plate. When that ball is in the air, he shouldn't have to be worrying about covering for a guy who looks like he's just jogging through a warm-up drill. That's not a chemistry issue, that's an effort issue, plain and simple. The saddest part is that this isn't the first time Jerry has been the source of this kind of trouble. This is rapidly becoming a recurring theme, a noticeable pattern. And patterns on the football field, they don't lie. Even if the players are trying to talk their way around it. To make matters worse, Stefanski isn't helping the situation at all. He consistently puts Shedeur in terrible situations by calling plays that make absolutely no sense and then fails to hold the people around him accountable. If your star receiver isn't finishing his routes, you fix it. You address it. If someone is consistently going too slow, you either sit them down on the bench or you light a fire under them and tell them to speed up. But Stefanski just lets it go. And then he acts all bewildered when the offense inevitably breaks down. He isn't safeguarding his young quarterback. Instead, he's throwing him into dangerous circumstances and expecting him to magically fix everyone else's mistakes. Shedeur is out there trying to build chemistry with players who simply don't have the same level of intensity or commitment as he does, while the coach isn't holding anyone responsible except for the one person who is doing everything perfectly. That's why these moments look so dysfunctional. It's not because of Shedeur, it's because the people around him, from the players to the coaching staff, aren't giving him the structure and support he desperately needs. And look, the analyst is 100% correct. Jerry just didn't finish the play. There were no arms up, no attempt to jump, no effort, absolutely nothing. It honestly looks like he checked out while the ball was still hanging in the air. That is exactly the kind of lazy play that turns a guaranteed touchdown into just another missed opportunity. When a quarterback with Shedeur's talent puts the ball exactly where it needs to be, the receiver has one job and one job only. Fight for it. Stretch, jump, claw. Do whatever it takes. But Jerry didn't even provide the bare minimum effort, and that's what makes it so awful to watch. Shedeur can't create a big play if the guy on the other end is acting like he's just going through the motions. The experts shouted it out because it was obvious to anyone watching. Shedeur did his part, and Jerry didn't. What makes this even more frustrating is how much work Shedeur has to do to protect guys like Jerry after the play is over. He remains polite and professional, even when the game tape reveals a complete and total lack of effort. This guy isn't being mean, he's just being honest. If Jerry even puts in a little bit of effort there, it's easy points on the board. But this is the reality Shedeur has to deal with every single week. Perfect throws that go to waste because someone else failed to do their job. And through it all, Shedeur stays calm, continues to lead, and carries the offense like a seasoned pro despite being so much younger than his title suggests. Meanwhile, Jerry keeps letting him down with lazy routes and mental lapses. The expert said what needed to be said, and he was absolutely right. The quarterback isn't the problem here, it's the receiver who refuses to meet him halfway. Shedeur is just telling everyone the truth without having to spell it out. He hears that reporter's question, he knows it's rude and designed to stir up drama, and he answers with pure class. And in any case, he is correct when he calls it a disrespectful question. The reporter is blatantly trying to bait him into blaming his coach for the series of terrible 4th-and-1 calls. They want him to point fingers to escalate the situation, and to take the fall for strategic choices he had no part in making. But Shedeur stays on track. He keeps the focus where it should be, on playing the game, on competing, and on staying together as a team. That's what real leaders do. He protects the locker room, even when the locker room doesn't always protect him. You can tell from the way he speaks that he's exhausted from having to constantly explain things that are not his fault. But he still does the right thing. And honestly, what is the Browns media even doing? Why are you trying to drag a young quarterback into coaching disputes, when you should be asking Stefanski the real hard-hitting questions? Why not question the coach directly? Why does he keep calling such hazardous plays when his team is backed up deep in their own territory? Why don't you ask him why he continues to put his quarterback in such risky, high-stakes situations? Why go after the player who is executing the play instead of the person who designed it? This is the core of the issue. Instead of holding Stefanski accountable for his questionable decision-making, they put all the pressure on Shedeur. Stefanski continues to get away with it, while Shedeur is forced to take the blame for him. That's not leadership. That's not support. That is absolutely not how you protect your young franchise quarterback. But even with all of that stacked against him, Shedeur stays strong, remains polite, and refuses to throw anyone under the bus. He's doing his job. It's time the coach, the media, and everyone else started doing theirs. In the end, Jeudy's feeble effort combined with Stefanski's bad decisions only highlighted one thing. Shedeur is the one who is truly leading this team, and showing what toughness is all about. These kinds of situations are exactly why he's different, and why other people seem to constantly find themselves in trouble around him. If you like this breakdown, please make sure to like and subscribe for more. And let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think the Browns need to do a much better job of protecting Shedeur before things get even worse?